In this sketchbook activity, I'm going to need a couple things as I get started. First thing that I'm going to need is a white sheet of paper. It can be loose like it is here, or it can be in your sketchbook. I'm also going to need a pencil for this activity, which I will be using today. And I'm also going to need basically what this is going to be a viewfinder. It's a larger viewfinder than what we're used to. So in this case, this viewfinder that you're going to use is going to have to be 7 inches wide by 5 inches tall. And the window size is going to be 5.5 inches by 3.5 inches. We'll be using these in class, but if you need to make your own, you can using the measurements that I just mentioned. I'll also be using some colored pencils at some point, like so. And in this case, I'm going to be using a shoe. This is not the best shoe to be using. A gym shoe would be really good, or an athletic shoe, but this one will work okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my viewfinder and put it either this way or this way, as it covers part of my shoe. I'm trying to find the part that I think is most interesting. In this case, I think something like that might work pretty good. So what I should be seeing is something that looks something like this. I've got my shoe and I've got a viewfinder that is there, obscuring part of my shoe, but also letting me see kind of a window into a portion of my shoe. With that in mind, I'm going to start this process by drawing just what I see what's within the window of my viewfinder. To do that, I'm going to have to actually take my viewfinder and place it here and trace the outside of my viewfinder. So that way what I draw in this space is going to be what I see in the window. So now my space of my window here corresponds to the drawing that I have on my page. One thing that's really important about creating this drawing is trying to add as many details as I can. For example, I was able to fit in part of some of the wording that's actually on the footbed of the Birkenstock sandal that I have. So the K of the word Birkenstock and the R, which is the logo, as well as the words Birkenstocks here on this one, and this. All those clasps have the words Birkenstocks there. So I drew those words in there because they were there. I also created the thickness of some of the side of the leather because I could see here and here the thickness of the sidewall. This part down here would be the shoe sole, which I would create as part of the shoe as well. The next thing I'm going to do is start the process of adding color. In this case, I've got a couple different colored pencils for me to do so. I can do so realistically using colors that look like the colors in the shoe, or colors that are not realistically. At this point, I'm going to stop. I would normally continue to add color. That being said, here's an example of one that has color that I added to, like so. You'll notice in this case, I was able to add color realistically to the shoe and not realistically into the color orange, which is actually the table that the shoe was sitting on. The table wasn't really orange, but I wanted it to look like it had some interesting color. Orange and blue, as I know, are complementary, so that's going to really make it pop. However, I could also turn my canvas a different way. If I wanted to instead turn my canvas this way, in this case, I'm able to draw it so I can see it from the long way, which would be more of a vertical versus a horizontal. So it is up to you as far as you do it horizontally or vertically as part of this process. A couple other examples of what that could have looked like with the sketch was something like this one, where I have my shoe. This is part of the shoe, and you can see that here it is part of the top of the sole, or top of the shoe, and there's a little bit of the opening where the foot would go here. Here's another example of something like that, but this one is turned a little bit differently. In this case, I've got my laces are here, and I've actually done the stitching. Any of those small details that you can add to will help your piece. So back to this one, this is what a final finished piece could look like when it is complete. Notice how everything inside of here has color.